Greetings, everyone. I'm Zaku Nyankai, the leader of the Principality of Nyan, and I'm here to give you my review on Skeletal Avenger. And I just want to start off by saying I know my voice is high pitched and whiny, and I hate it, but it's what God gave me, so let's bear through this. Skeletal Avenger is described as an exploration, action roguelike hack and slash game created by 10 Tons, the same creators of Undead Horde, which I highly recommend you play because this game is set in the same universe, and if you liked Undead Horde, I think you're really going to like Skeletal Avenger. In fact, this game is the reason I'm starting to do reviews and created my channel. I think there's a lot of underappreciated games out there that deserve to be recognized, so I'm going to start covering them and give them their time in the spotlight. So don't expect many, if any, AAA game coverage from this channel. I might cover them from time to time if they interest me, but just don't expect it to be too often. Now let's jump into the review. Graphics. Are the graphics great? No, they aren't AAA quality, but I don't think they need to be because they are appropriate for this game and the universe that it takes place in. They keep the same look and feel from Undead Horde, and I really like that. Lighting is used appropriately, and spell effects look magical when they go off. One thing I really do like is when the laser beam units would fire, they would leave this burn mark on the ground where they hit. It's that type of attention to detail that I really appreciate. Again, it's not the greatest looking game, but it's appropriate for the environment that it was created for and the universe that it takes place in. Sound. Audio is very good, and it fits the tone of the game. It has this dark and creepy feel to it. When you're back in the castle, the music there reminds me of something out of Diablo 2. However, what I think really makes the game's sound shine is the effects. The sound impact feels real and solid. Explosions sound like explosions. When you dash, you get this little whoosh, which is always good to hear to let you know that it went off. When you hit metal, you get this metallic clank. When you hit wood, it sounds like you're hitting a tree. And smashing books sounds like you're hitting a thick stack of papers really hard. I have nothing but praise for the sound in this game. And I believe sound is so important in video games, and I think 10 Tons did it right here. Story. Spoiler alert, you have died and are resurrected by a necromancer, which I believe is the same one you play as in Undead Horde, but don't quote me on that. However, it does look like him, and I do believe it is him, and I'm going to say it's him because I want it to be him. But instead of being resurrected as a mindless minion, you retain your memories and want to seek revenge on those that murdered you. Hence the name of the game, Skeletal Avenger. It's a very simple story, nothing in depth, and I'm fine with that because I don't need anything overly complicated for this type of game. However, if you're the type of person that wants an in-depth, long story, this game doesn't have it, and it's probably not for you. Gameplay. The first few levels for me were hard because I was learning what to do, and I didn't have anything unlocked yet. But once you start earning money for upgrades and finding new gear, you really start to feel like you're becoming more and more powerful with each level that you complete. Every dungeon run, you earn perks that will give you benefits to make you even more powerful. However, once you finish the dungeon run, those perks are lost, and you have to earn new ones on your next dungeon run. At first I was disappointed with this because I had some really good builds, but the more and more I played, I understood why you lose them each run. You would become far too powerful if you kept them, and nothing would kill you. So I think the creators of this game had a good idea by removing them each dungeon run and having you start from scratch again. You do retain your bought upgrades and your gear. You just lose the perks that you find in the level. So I think it's a well-balanced system. There are mini boss fights at the end of each dungeon and major boss fights in each zone, and there's 4 zones in the game total. The minor mini bosses aren't hard, but the major bosses can be a bit tricky, so be prepared to do a lot of hit and run tactics and skull throwing. It took me about 15 hours to beat the game, but I grinded dungeons for money to make myself as strong as possible. So you could technically beat it in less time if you wanted to rush through it. The nice thing is, once you beat the game, you get the option to run it again, but on a higher difficulty, where monsters have more health, hit harder, and have magical resistance. It's the same gameplay loop they added to Undead Horde, which I like because it gives it more replayability. The bad. After all the praise I've given it, it's not a perfect game, and there are a few minor things that I would like to see changed or tweaked here and there, so let's dive into those. Skull throw. When throwing your skull, it goes until it hits something. Some rooms are huge and it gets lost. Sewer levels with the edge around the map, I'm looking at you. Yes, you can recall your skull, but it takes time, and when you're in a fight running for your life, you don't have time to stop, because if you do, you're gonna get hit and you're gonna die. I would like to see the skull just stop at the edge of the monitor, or have a maximum throw distance of something like 20-30 meters, and then it just drops to the ground. That way, you still have to run around and dodge enemies to get it back, but it's not a mile away where you're down an important weapon in your arsenal. The next one is just an annoyance for me. When you open chests, sometimes coins go on the other side of the chest, and when you have this automatic sucking up tool where it sucks the coins up to you, they get stuck behind the chest, which means you have to walk around to the other side to get them and pick them up. Coins in range should just pass through chests, in my opinion. I'm not asking them to go through walls, but at least just go through the chest, because it's really annoying, and you'll see if you start playing this game what I mean. It's just irritating, in my opinion, and I think that could be an easy tweak to fix. Perks and trinkets. There are a few perks and trinkets that are just bad. I would never use them, or only use them in specific circumstances. Slumber of the Sullen Eyes, I'm talking about you. Only useful against one type of enemy in the game. Why would I waste an upgrade on that unless I'm fighting those specific enemies in that specific level? And even then, I really don't need it that bad enough to waste one of my perk upgrades. The same can be said with Trinket upgrade Inspiring Level, which doubles your damage for 20 seconds when starting a level. After 20 seconds, it's useless then for the rest of the level. Why would I pick something like that when I could get something that permanently increases the health I receive by 50% anytime I heal? It's just useless. I think some tweaks need to be done to make all the perks and trinkets useful. Everything on the table should be an option. Multiplayer. This game only offers multiplayer through shared split screen co-op, and this is a game that desperately needs multiplayer added to it because it would enhance the fun factor tenfold in my opinion. My friend and I want to play multiplayer in this game, but we can't because he lives in a whole other state than I do. So we can't get together and do a split screen. And even if we could, I wouldn't want to. I want to be on my own screen, playing on my own computer while he's on his own. If games from the 90s could offer this feature, this game should as well. Price. I bought it on sale for $9 on Steam, and I feel that was appropriate for what I got out of it. The full price is listed at $16.99, but I think that's a bit high. If it had multiplayer over the network, I would say yes, $16.99 without a doubt. That is a good price and fair. But without multiplayer, get it on sale. Now, do I recommend Skeletal Avenger? Yes, absolutely, but on sale. I base my recommendations on fun factor, and I think this game is very fun. I've gotten over 20 hours into it, and I'm enjoying it, and I plan on playing some more. I really think it is a great single player game. Again, single player game, unless you want to do split screen co-op. My final score for Skeletal Avenger is a 9 out of 10. If they add the multiplayer over the network, I could easily bump it up to a 10 out of 10. Is it a perfect game? No, it has minor little issues and annoyances, but it's a fun game. And if they added that multiplayer over the network, it would be so much more fun. So without that, it's stuck out of a 9 out of a 10. If you like this content and want to see more, please join me in the ranks of the Principality of Nyan by clicking the subscribe button below. Thank you, take care, and Sig Nyanko.